Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the MCDFNL Footy Show for another week. Great to be bringing you all of the happenings from around the Marlborough-Castlemaine District Football and Netball League. Once again, this week here on the MCDFNL website. I'm Sean Kelly. Joining me as always is Sam Gowers, my co-host. Sammy, welcome back, mate.
Thanks, mate. Glad to be here again for another week.
Another big weekend in MCDFNL footy last weekend, in that 2-week period, obviously, in between breaks. So, some big talking points coming from the last weekend as well. In particular, looking at the ladder now. Cream definitely rising to the top. The three sides at the moment undefeated, Navarre, Royal Park and Natty Bialaba, and a 2-game gap to Carisbrook back in fourth. So we're starting to see some separation on that ladder.
Yeah, we certainly are. And before that Queen's birthday break that's approaching, I'm sure the coaches of those three teams will be happy to see that they're so far clear of the chasing pack.
Yeah, doing very, very nicely indeed. Last week also threw up a really, really good win for a team that had been struggling up to that point, Talbot, who, as we know, started the season with the first 2 wins. We're in a bit of a hole since then. Then went out to Newstead and got a really important win last weekend. Great to see Talbot up and about.
Yeah, they've been probably threatening to do this maybe for the last few rounds after that good start that you just spoke about. So full credit to Sherman, Dallas Byers and the boys out at the Hawks.
Doing very nicely indeed. The Hawks, a big game this week. This could be a season-defining one this week. We'll talk about it more later. But they play Lexington at Lexington this week, and I reckon they're in with a real show.
Yeah, me too. I tipped Lexington last week and they made me look stupid, so Matt Brown and the boys are in my bad books.
Yes, and that's not a good place that you want to be, especially when he's got a whole newspaper to write about you as well. That's not a good thing at all. Third talking point this week, the Trentham Football Club. Are they at the crossroads now? Meant to be one of the big improvers this year. They're 5 goals up against Natty Bialaba at halftime on the weekend. Ended up losing by 5 goals. They now sit 2-4. They play Royal Park this week. Fair to say their season's at the crossroads at the moment.
Yeah, I still think they probably are one of the league's most improved sides, Sean. That win-loss ratio, not real flattering, but I back them to come good. Losing to Natty, who's one of the unbeaten sides, is no shame in that.
But from all reports, I heard Clayton Scoble extremely upset with his players after the weekend, gave them one of the all-time great sprays. As
you probably would be. Blowing a 5-goal lead at half-time is not what you want to see as a coach.
Not indeed at all. You saw the ladder up on the screen before when we were talking about that separation. And as you can see, it's starting to be a very good season. As we know, 6 wins made the finals last year. I've got a feeling that you may need 1 or 2 more than that this year. But let's have a look at round 7 this week in the MCDFNL leading into next week's Queen's birthday long weekend. Avoca taking on Newstead at the Avoca Public Park. 2 teams looking to rebound after defeats last week.
Yeah, they certainly will be, particularly Newstead. That loss to Talbot that we just spoke about will have annoyed Nathan Webster, no doubt about that.
Yes, actually Avoca not rebounding. They beat Campbell's Creek last week.
Well, there you go, but exactly. I'm still going to back in Newstead to get the win here.
Good thing we've got a live studio audience here today that you just heard coughing and spluttering and cheering in the background to obviously keep us on our toes this week. Newstead for mine as well. Natty Bialaba taking on Campbell's Creek at Natty Alec Reserve this week. Your Swannies will start very warm favourites for this one.
Yeah, and they probably should. Bouncing back from that 5-goal deficit at half-time showed that they do have a bit of grit. Earlier in the season, they've probably blown sides away in the first quarter and just gone on to wins from there. So Jared Bates can be very happy to see the side bounce back from that.
Yeah, Natty for mine as well in this one. Carisbrook taking on Maldon as the live studio audience has a coughing fit in the background at Royal Carisbrook this week. Another chance for Carisbrook to just keep putting the pressure on those top 3 sides.
Yeah, and this should be an easy win for Carisbrook. Unfortunately, Maldon not travelling real well, whereas the Redbacks are in red-hot form.
Yeah, they are indeed. Maryborough Rovers taking on Denali. Interesting little game at Jubilee Oval this year. A rare appearance on Jubilee Oval at this stage of the year for the Maryborough Rovers as well. Against the Denali side that are looking okay, but the Rovers will back themselves in at home.
Yeah, they will. They started off really well against Harcourt, fell away after half-time last week. So I'm sure Ross Andrews would like to see him get a win. Unfortunately, I think Denali has improved too much and the Eagles will get the points here.
Yeah, Denali for mine as well. Looking pretty good this year despite all of their early mutterings. Navarre versus Harcourt at the Navarre Sports Complex. Is there any reason at all that we can't see number 48 in a row this weekend?
No, unfortunately for the Lions, I think the Grasshoppers, as we say every week, just too good.
Yeah, Grasshoppers look good in their Indigenous jumpers last week as well. Full credit to the Navarre Footy Club and Daniel Parkin, who got it all organised for getting their Indigenous jumpers up last week. Speaking of teams wearing Indigenous jumpers last week, the Talbot Footy Club did as well, and they're featuring in what I reckon is the match of the round this week, taking on Lexington at Lexington, and a really important game for both sides for probably the finals aspirations of both sides. And when you talk about Lexington, that's a weird thing to say.
Yeah, no doubt that this will be a game of the round, Sean. Lexington disappointing last week against Royal Park, particularly seeing I tipped them, whereas Talbot ultra impressive with a win over Newstead, so I'm going to go with the Hawks.
Yeah, look, I reckon Lexington have got one last go in them. I reckon Matty Brown will know that this is basically a huge 8-point game for them, so to speak. That term starts to come into the footy lexicon now because of the importance of some of these games, and I reckon that they can get over the line in this one. I'm not confident because I know Talbot are a very good side at the moment and that they're playing some good footy, but I just feel Lexington will know the importance of this game to their season and be able to get over the line.
Yeah, I just think Talbot will be up and about after that win last week, so confidence to get him over the line.
Yeah, very good point. Obviously, momentum plays a lot in football, as we know. Last game for the weekend, Royal Park taking on Trentham at Hedges Oval. 6-day break for Royal Park, 7-day break for Trentham. Does that make a difference in local footy? Not all that sure. What I know is Royal Park will go in favourites, but Trentham, as we know, as we saw last week in that first half, really took it up to Natty and have the cattle to give this one a shake.
Yeah, they certainly do, but I just think at home Royal Park are probably a slightly better team on their home ground, so I'm going to go with the Tigers, particularly seeing I tipped against them last week.
Yeah, Tigs for mine as well, putting Trentham in a bit of a hole, I feel, after this round. That's all the time we've got for this week. And next week as well. Obviously, no footy next week on the Queen's birthday long weekend. We're going to take the opportunity to refresh the batteries a little bit because Lord knows we need it. We're just spluttering to the line at the moment. So we'll take that chance, recharge the batteries, get back the next week as well and really hit that second part of the season running. We're also going to have an MCDFNL netball show in the next 2 weeks as well, the June edition of the MCDFNL netball show. So netball fans, there's one to look out for. We'll bring you that one in that same week after the Queen's birthday weekend as well, looking at things going along. So Sammy, get to have the week off next week, mate. Looking forward to that.
I'll recharge the batteries and see you in a couple of weeks, mate.
Sounds good. We've said recharge the batteries very, very often during the show at the moment. Probably too much as well. So we thank you for joining us once again on the MCDFNL Footy Show for this week. We'll see you again in 2 weeks' time.